Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be talking about this album's 20th anniversary, and it's the debut album. It might be one of the most underrated debut albums from like one of the best power metal bands ever. For some people will like them, some people won't, but I don't really give a shit. I enjoy these guys, and as you can see by the title, today we're going to be talking about Valley of the Damned by Dragonforce, the band's debut album released on February 25th, 2003 under Noise Records. Now, everybody should probably know Dragonforce, I've at least heard of them. Been around since 1999, formed in London, England, by guitarists Herman Lee and Sam Totman. And they both came from a band called Demoniac, or Demoniac, I can't even pronounce the name. And then, of course, they found their original vocalist, CP Theart, through an advertisement. And then they've had like a couple different lineup changes. They also had like an old bass player and a keyboardist and a drummer. And then, of course, they got solidified in the lineup. And they started playing locally around the UK at the time. And it wasn't until like around 2001 or 2002 that they started recording Valley of the Damned, and of course in 2003 we get this album. Now for me, when it comes to this album, like not a lot of people talk about the debut album. Everybody that knows Dragonforce only really talks about like Sonic Firestorm or even Inhuman Rampage. That was pretty much what got Dragonforce sort of like in there and pretty much heard of them. One thing to note is the production on this album is pretty solid. It's just like it's pretty raw sounding. It's just very rockin'. Like they definitely have a great production on this. The one thing to note is the vocal work from their former singer ZP Theart. I think this is pretty much where he really shines. Mostly on those first couple Dragonforce albums, he really was good. And the guitar work on this album is tight. Obviously Herman Lee and Sam Totman really come up with some really great riffs and just also great songwriters as well. Just the drumming from, I believe, former drummer Didier Alamunzi. The drumming on there is really tight, and the keyboards from former keyboardist Vadim Pruzhanov, who was their longtime keyboardist for many years up until he left the band in 2017 or 2018. I think the keyboards really add a lot of depth and a lot of atmosphere to it. And then the bass playing on this album, I kind of wish was a little bit audible. I believe it was Dickian Harper that was only a session member. He only contributed to session bass work on this album since they didn't have an official bassist at the time. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is a little short intro called Invocation of Apocalyptic Evil, which has a title is a longer name than the track time itself. But honestly, I feel like this song, the intro is kind of really pointless. Only like 14 or 15 songs. 15 seconds. They should have just combined it with the next song, Valley of the Damned. Now, this song, the title track, gives you pretty much a very good first impression of Dragonforce, just known from the speedy drumming and the guitar. And then the lyrics here are pretty cheesy and fun, and the vocals almost sound kind of poppy a little bit, and that's only in the first 3 minutes of the song. And next coming off with Herman shredding away, then switching off and letting Sam take the solo. And I kind of like the sort of the trade-offs between Herman and Sam. They really I feel like it's their own way of talking. Next song on here is Black Fire. Now Black Fire has probably the best lyrics on the album, to be free there must be a black fire, and I feel like it's just a really great line that pretty much sticks to your head. And this is one of the songs where I feel like the bass is pretty much clearly heard throughout the entire song. Overall, I feel like the song is one of the catchiest on this album and something that's very memorable, I should say. Can't even talk today, I'm sorry. Moving on to Black Winter Night. Now so far we've heard Dragonforce plays almost major key signatures, different than the minor keys that almost every other metal band plays. And I feel like Black Winter Night is the most sort of positive sounding so far, and the part of the verses are the vocals and drums only, which gives it a catchy sound, and it gets cheesy near the end right after solos, and then it gets the classic woe into the songs, which can be cheesy. Then pretty much by now you're thinking the whole album is full of speed, right? Wrong. And then next song on here is called Starfire. Now this is sort of a power metal ballad, and the beginning of the song has only vocals, acoustic guitar, and soft drumming, which makes this song sort of like the closest Dragonforce will come to be without being pop. And though Speed is Dragonforce's kind of thing, it is a credible song, and it includes like an acoustic guitar solo by Sam and another kind of like solo from Herman later on. And I feel like this, in my opinion, this is the best Dragonforce ballad, period. And then it gets right back to top speed with Disciples of Babylon. And as the song progresses, you'll notice there's a lot more keyboarding here in the other songs. And halfway through the song, it goes into acoustic bridge, which has a nice listen to. And then the drums are added a little later, and then a keyboard solo. And after the keyboard solo comes a guitar solo at a good tempo, unlike the insane fast solos in Valley of the Damned. And with a slow-moving solo on Starfire, I feel like this song ends with the best keyboard solo on here. And I think, really, the Deem, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated keyboard players. And I really think he should have shined more during his time with Dragonforce. Next song on the album is called Revelations. Now, this is another good song lyrically. And the chorus is done really well, and it fits with the song. And the song slows down to the previous song, but not as much. And it isn't acoustic filled. Instead, it has some of the best guitar work on the album here, though not as quite as good as it was on like the title track. But the drum work during the solo part is also very good for Dragonforce. And then we get to Evening Star. Now, you might thinking when you first hear this, like, wow, another ballad? You're wrong. It has a nice slow 30-second intro, making you think it's another ballad like Starfire, but then its speed kicks right in after the solo. And the keyboards here are noticeable here, but they aren't giving much a chance, similar to like Disciples of Babylon. And the guitar solos here are basically screaming due to an octave driver, and then Herman and Sam used in their song. And the song ends with like a short bass fill at the end. And then we close things out with Heart of the Dragon. Again, and if there was like a contest for like cheesy lyrics ever, Heart of the Dragon would probably be it. And I pretty much, when I first heard this song, I pretty much laughed when I heard it with like the intro the first time. It's like, proud and so glorious, standing before of us, our swords will shine bright in the sky. It's quite possibly the cheesiest thing I've ever heard. But overall, I think Heart of the Dragon is a nice short song, especially for Dragonforce, and a great way to end this album. Now, overall, Valley of the Damned by Dragonforce is a really great debut for this album. I really wish people would talk about this album. But I feel like the instruments shine somewhere on the album. The songs are less samey as they do with other albums. And despite like the song lengths, like some songs are like over 5 minutes long, the songs don't drag. But I feel like the cheesiness could have toned down a little bit, and I feel like it could have been mixed better. So overall, I'm going to give this album a score. I'm going to give Valley of the Damned by Dragonforce a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Valley of the Damned, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.